Deep in the rugged mountains of the Eastern Qing Tombs, there is a hidden Imperial Noble Consort mausoleum that goes far beyond the usual rules.
Hey everyone, I hope you are having a wonderful day. I'm standing at the mausoleum of two women who served as first grandmothers to the Qianlong Emperor. Tucked away inside the Eastern Qing Tombs, this often overlooked site is the Imperial Noble Consort Mausoleum attached to Jingling. Because it was built to imperial rather than ordinary consort standards, it differs markedly from typical consort's principles. Let's take a closer look.
Its occupants are two Imperial Noble Consorts of the Kangxi Emperor, and also the two women who became the Qianlong Emperor's adoptive grandmothers. To repay the diet of raising him, Qianlong ordered something almost unheard of in Chinese history, a shared tomb built for two high-ranking consorts, buried together in one complex. Qianlong was the grandson of the legendary Kangxi Emperor. Together, grandfather and grandson ruled China for an astonishing 121 years, and under Qianlong's reign, the Qing Empire reached its absolute peak. In 1722, when Kangxi was already in his final years, he met his young grandson Hongli, the future Qianlong Emperor, and immediately took a liking to him. So he gave a special order. Hongli was to be brought into the palace and raised there under the care of Imperial Noble Consort Que and Imperial Noble Consort Dunyi. We could say that this unique adoptive upbringing, this diet of care and favor, was where Qianlong's political rise truly began. On the west side are the Square City, the Soul Tower, and the burial mound of Imperial Noble Consort Dunyi. She was from the Guarjia clan. She died in 1768, living to the remarkable age of 86. And she was not just long-lived, she was the last surviving consort of the Kangxi Emperor, outliving all the others. On the east side are the Square City, the Soul Tower, and the burial mound of Imperial Noble Consort Que. Her elder sister was Empress Xiang, who was buried alongside Kangxi inside the Jingling Mausoleum. Que died in 1743 at the age of 75, a remarkably long life by the standards of the pre-modern world. Imperial Noble Consort Que came from the powerful Tonggiya clan, a family we could almost call Nurhaci's angel investors in the earliest days. Back in the late 16th century, when Great Qing's first monarch, Nurhaci, was still plotting his uprising, he was basically broke. According to the story, he entered the Tonggiya household as an auxiliary local son-in-law, a man who married into the bride's family and lived under their roof. At the time, the clan leader, Bayan, was said to be one of the wealthiest merchant magnates in Northeast Asia, with major trade ties to the Ming Dynasty. Traveling with his father-in-law between Manchuria and Beijing, Nurhaci learned how business worked, then funneled that commercial capital into what mattered most, buying repairs and building armed strength. And once the Qing state was formally established, the Tonggiya clan rose with it, becoming one of the dynasty's most famous elite powerhouse families. Therefore, for the Qianlong Emperor, who was raised within the palace, being nurtured by Imperial Noble Consort Que of the Tonggiya clan, also signified the political backing of the Tonggiya family for him. Two independent sites of square cities, Soul Towers, and burial mounds constitute the burial area at the rear, while the sacrificial area is situated to the south of the burial zone. The core of the sacrificial area is the Hall of Element Fever, Hall of Longen. After centuries of weathering, only its surrounding walls remain. Judging from the extant ruins, a stone Xumi throne, Xumizuo, still stands in the center of the hall, which once served as the platform for the spirit tablets of the two Imperial Noble Consorts. One of the most unusual features of this Imperial Noble Consort mausoleum is the Danbi stone set before the Longen Hall. Such stones decorated with auspicious designs were normally reserved for the tombs of emperors, empresses. Its presence here was clearly a breach of ritual rank. The stone is carved with a phoenix motif, a symbol of auspicious fortune associated with noble women. The eastern side hall was used to store ritual offerings and ceremonial items, while the western side hall was reserved for lamas reciting scriptures. Its eastern and western side halls were modeled after those found in the mausoleums of emperors and empresses. Under the Qing hierarchy, one detail had to change: the roof tiles. The yellow glazed tiles, normally reserved for the highest-ranking Imperial tombs, were replaced here with green glazed tiles, in line with status regulations. In Chinese culture, Feng Shui is not just decoration, it's a serious way of thinking about fate and fortune. Many people believe that how their ancestors are buried can directly affect the health, wealth, and the success of later generations. So this Imperial Noble Consorts mausoleum was carefully engineered for Feng Shui as well. Started right at the entrance, beneath the stone bridge outside the main gate. A small stream wings its way past, symbolizing wealth in motion, money that keeps flowing. And this is not unique to this site. Since around the 14th century, a curving water course like this became a near-standard feature in almost every major imperial tomb complex in China. On the eastern and western sides of the mausoleum, as well as behind it, there is a hill in each direction. Although they are not very obvious from a joint's perspective, their role is crucial in Feng Shui. They act as windbreaks, warding off negative influences, while also anchoring and retaining energy, good fortune, and wealth. Interestingly, these hills are man-made. During the construction of the two underground palaces at the rear, the earth excavated from the deep pits was transported to the surrounding area, forming three protective hills. In 1743, the Qianlong Imperial Noble Consorts mausoleum was finally completed. But here is the twist. More than a century later, this very tomb complex somehow managed to infuriate Empress Dowager Cixi, one of the most powerful women in late-Qing China. So what happened? In 1861, Empress Dowager Cixi and Empress Dowager Cian seized control of the Qing Empire through a coup. And according to long-standing Chinese tradition, a ruler's imperial tomb was not something you built after death. It had to be planned and constructed while they were still alive. A few years later, the Ministry of Works submitted a proposed design for the two dowagers' mausoleums. In that draft, their tombs would have looked almost exactly like the imperial complex we are seeing on screen. They would share a single main hall and a single main gate. Cixi was furious. What? Even with all the power she held, she still could not have a fully independent empress tomb? She rejected the plan and ordered a redesign. And that's how the project became what we now call the Ding Dongling Mausoleum. Officially, it's a connected pair of empress mausoleums, but in reality, the architecture is completely split. Two separate walls built side by side.
After World War II ended in 1945, China became one of the main front lines in the struggle between the Eastern and the Western blocs. In the Eastern Qing Tombs area, bandits claiming they were fighting the imperial, landlord, and aristocratic class forced their way into the necropolises, blasting open nearly every imperial tomb and looting the underground chambers of their treasures. The Qianlong Imperial Noble Consorts Mausoleum was no exception. It was not until the 1950s, when the burial chambers were cleared, reorganized, and sealed again, that these two consorts were finally allowed to rest in peace. By the year 2000, as an integral part of the Imperial Tombs of the Ming and the Qing dynasties, the Qianlong Imperial Noble Consort Mausoleum was officially inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List. One would like to believe that this global recognition finally brings a sense of solace and peace to their souls. Thanks for watching, and welcome subscribe.